Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this video I am going to discuss the poem Lotus Eaters by Alfred Lord Tennyson. As I've already discussed his biography and writing style, so we will see how his writing style is reflected in this poem. And to understand his poem, you must watch that video. Let's have a glimpse. As well, as you know, Alfred Lord Tennyson, he was a lyrical poet, and he is known as the spirit of the age of the Victorian age, because he is representative of that age. And he, in his writing, he just represented the restlessness spirit of Victorian age. And he was a social reformer, and he was a believer of progress of science and technology. So here comes his theory, his philosophy of progressive activist philosophy, which is very important, and I will discuss his philosophy in a separate video as well. And it is the major theme or main point or crux of this poem as well, right, in which he discusses about progress. He compare the activeness and passiveness, progress and progress and motionless, right? So he'll compare through different symbolism as well. For example, land which show stillness or motionless, whereas sea which show progress. So his themes include division of self, psychological realism. It is the technique that he employed in this poem as well, which means linking the situation with the psychology of the characters. So we will see the effect of that island, Lotus Eaters Island, on the mariners, right? So he he, in his writing, we will see allusions to past, right, mythology, historical past. And this poem is based on a story from Greek mythology. You know, the story of Odysseus, the legend in Greek mythology. You know, he won the battle of Troy, and on their way back to the home, what actually happened, their god, Greek god Zeus, he felt like that they are ungrateful, so he punished them with a journey of voyage of 10 years. So on their way back to home, they just enter into this island, the Lotus Eater Island. And what actually happened to them on that island, we will discuss in this poem. So here the poem begins. Courage, he said, and pointed towards land. The courage, right, it is very important word here, which your progress, right? His philosophy of progressive activist philosophy. And so these words are said by Odysseus to his men, right? And when they were having voyage towards Greek, and he just cheered them up because they feel exhausted and tired. He said that have courage, right? We will reach home. So, and then what actually happens? He pointed towards shore, and tell them that this wave, this tempest, it roll us to shoreward soon, right? And in the afternoon they come onto land, and this land referred to the island of Lotus Eaters, in which it seemed always afternoon. So this island, it is very peculiar island, you know, a strange kind of a weird, a charm island, enchanted island. um, so a dreamy description is there of that island. So this island is described as timelessness, a dreamy land, and it is personified as well, and it is described as enchanted land. All round the coast the languid air did sound breathing like one that had a very dream. See the description, full face above the valley stood the moon, the full moon, right, and like a downward smokes and slender streams were there, and along the cliff to fall, pause and fall did seem. Cliffs, you know, the rocks, the mountains, right? So it was hauled by the mountains around to fall, and pause and fall did seem. So I will discuss the important points of this poem, right? So again, he's describing the island, Lotus Eaters Island. It was a land of streams, some like a downward smoke, slow dropping views of thinnest land, and some through wavering light, shadows broke, right? It's this description. No further analysis is required in these lines. These are very easy and straightforward, right? Description of the island rolling a slumberous sheet of foam below. There's a gleaming river. Seawards flow from inner land far off. Three mountains top and three silent pinnacles of aged snow stood the sunset flushed and dew the showery drops woven corpse. So and then further, as I already told you, it was an enchanted island charm, right? It was so the charm sunset lingered low at dawn in the red west through mountain cleft. The dale was seen far inland and yellow down border with palm and many a winding vale and meadow set with slender Galingal, a land where all things always seem the same, again refers to timelessness, no progress, everything remained the same. And further, he said that, and round about the Nile with faces pale, dark faces pale against the rosy flame, the pale faces of the mariners that have landed there, and the rosy flame refers to the sun, right? And the mild eye melancholy, the mild eyes of the melancholic mild eyes of mariners, the lotus eaters, they came there. And what they did, the lotus eaters, so the people of that island, the residents of that island, that came to the people of Odysseus, and what they did, they offered the lotus. Enchanted stem refers to the stem of lotus flower, which is eaten. So the people, they offer it to the men of Odysseus, and what they did later with flower and fruit, whereof they gave to each, and who was did receive of them and tasted it, right? And to him the gushing of the wave far, far away did seem to mourn and rave of alien shores, refer to Lotus Eaters Island. They have eaten this lotus on these alien shores, right? And they just, the fellows, the people of Odysseus, they spoke. His voice was thin and voice from the grave, and deep asleep they seem yet all awake. So they were in an awkward situation. The effect of lotus was that it brought them into awkward situation where they don't able to differentiate between the state of sleep and wakefulness, right? A strange effect it has got on them. And music, they heard the even beating of their heart was the only sound they have heard. And further, in this stanza, they set them down upon the yellow sand between the sun and moon, upon the shore, and sweet it was to dream of further land, of child, wife, and slave. So they sat down on this island, right? And they just having a dream of their children, wife, of home, right? And most weary thing. And further, some of them, they said that we will return no more. Again the conflict is there between activeness, passiveness, right? Between progress and stop. So they just began to give up, right? They abandoned the idea of returning home or the progress or the selling. They just want rest. So they lost the courage, that they have initially. So they don't want to go home and didn't want that struggle. So they just say we will return no more. And then they begin to sing our island home. Now this island is our home, we will not return to Greek, to our home. And choric song, This is part 2 of the poem, and it refers to choric song. The song they have sing and you know the choric, the word, it refers to chorus. Chorus is a group of people, the singers, right, in Greek drama. So what actually happened, they began to sing these songs and giving excuses, that lame excuses, that why they don't want to go to their home. They said that the music here is very sweet, right? Such excuses they gave, right? We enjoy this music is too sweet, we don't want to go home, and what we want is only rest. So they said there is sweet music here that soften fall, then petals from blown roses on the grass, or night dews on still waters between walls of shadowy granite in gleaming pass. Music that gentler on the spirit lies than tired eyelids upon the tired eyes. So this music is so sweet, so amazing, so soothing that we just begin to fall asleep, right? And we are in a dreamy state, right, where eyelids the we were tired, and our eyelids, it seems like they just fall upon the tired eyes, and we want sleep, rest, right? So music, the music is very sweet, and the music is so grand that it brings sweet sleep down from the blissful sky. It is like eternal sleep that this music bring upon us. And here are cool mosses deep, and the mosses leaves creep, right? Extended metaphor is there, and the plants there, right? Mosses and lotus, and in stream the long leaf flowers weep. Again personification, the flowers weep, and from the crazy ledge the poppy hangs in sleep. Poppy, opium, the again the flower, right? The drug thing, poppy, opiate, that is used to make, poppy is used to make drug opiate. So it is effect of that, and this land is dreamy and they are dreaming. And this stanza is very important, it is highly ironical, right? So Tennyson's idea of progress, his philosophy of activist progress, progressive activist philosophy is reflected in these lines, in this stanza. So we will discuss in detail. So why are we the mariners? We refers to the Lotus Eaters, the people of audacious, right? Or generally to all human beings. They said that. So how this stanza is ironical? Let me tell you that. As you know, irony, what actually happens, we expect something and the opposite of that thing happens. So as you know that Tennyson was believer of progress, and here this is his writing, his poem, and here he talks about restfulness, right? No progress, rest, because the mariners, they want rest, they want no struggle, they want to just give up the struggle of life, and they want only rest. And they just begin complaining that being human, we have the highest degree, right? Ashraful makhluqat, we can call. Then why we people struggle? We are of the highest rank in the creation of God. And they said, why are we humans weigh upon the heaviness? Why this burden upon us, and utterly consumed with sharp distress? This burden, these problems of life, struggle of life, it consumes us with distress, right? Tensions, depressions, things like that. While all things else have rest from the weariness, all things refers to other creatures, other beings. While they have rest, they are enjoying their life. Why we are only struggling? Why human beings only struggle? And we have to face problems of life. And further they say all things have rest, all other things, all other creatures, they have rest. Why should we toil alone? Toil refers to struggle, hard work, why we people have to work hard alone, while other people, other not people, other creatures, they have restful life, they have no struggle. But we toil, we only toil. And who are the first of things? First of things refer to that human beings have highest degree among creation, and make perpetual mourn, still from one sorrow to another thrown, right? From one sorrow to another. It's a cycle. Life is full of problems, sorrows, mourn, pain, and things like that, distress, struggle. So nor ever fold our wings and cease from the wandering, nor steep our brows in slumber's holy balm, nor hearken what the inner spirit sings. There is no joy but calm, right? There is no joy in our life, there is no calmness. We only toil, right? Why should we only toil? The roof and the crown of things. We are the crown of things, we have the highest degree. Then, despite that, and we are the beings that having struggled with life, we are struggling, almost always struggling. So theme of this discontentment is there. We are complaining, and they become ungrateful, right? They complaining to God, right? Because they give up, they want to give up the struggle of life, the progress of life. They just want rest. So they just rejecting their previous life of hard work and struggle in the favor of this one. The effect of the lotus, it takes them to in such a restfulness state of mind that what only they want is rest. They don't want to struggle or moving home or doing anything. What they only want is rest. So this stanza is very important, right? This second one in choric song, highly ironical stanza. And maybe you will be asked about irony of Tennyson, or you may be asked about progressive activist philosophy. So you may refer to lines from this stanza. It is very important. And further, we will see what happens. So, low in the middle of wood, the folded leaf is wood from out the bud, with winds upon the branch, and there grows green and broad, and takes no care. Again, the description of the island. They were in the middle of the woods, and folded leaves were there, and the winds upon the branches, green they grow, and sun steeped the moon, and falls and floats down the air, and sweetened with the summer light, the full juiced apple, right? The facilities there, or you can say the things there which make them feel restful. They enjoy, what they enjoy there is the summer steep noon, and right, and floats down the air with summer light, juice apples, and waxing our mallow, and all the allotted length of days. The flower ripens in its place, ripen and fades, and falls, and had no toil. All other things, the flowers and other creatures, they have amazing life, pleasure, and they have no toil, right? Fast rooted in the fruitful soil. So unlike rest of the creation, the human beings, they are unable to have a peaceful life that consists of living and then dying. And Tennyson idea of rest and progress, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. You can sum up his theory, progressive activist philosophy, in only in this word. This is lines taken from his work Ulysses: to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. It is very important, this single line. And further he said that hateful is the dark blue sky, vault it over the dark blue sea. Death is the end of life. Ah, why should life or labor be? The mariners further they complain about life that if the ultimate reality of our life is death, we have to die one day. Why this struggle of life? Why this toil? Right? Why life or labor be? Why we struggle if we are end up in a death? Right? They want to left totally alone, unbothered by the real world or the problems or the struggles of life, and they just believe that it is better to just die now rather than live a life of labor or the life full of struggles. And they say, let us alone. Time driven onwards fast, and in a little while our lips are dumb. Let us alone. What is it that will last? Right? Everything has to met is dead. Nothing is eternal. All things are taken from us and become portion and parcels and dreadful past. Let us alone. What pleasure can we have? And further, it's a long poem. you know Further, they said that to war with evil, right? Again, this is the struggle of life, struggle with evil. uh, is there any peace in ever climbing up the climbing wave? All things have rest and ripen towards the grave. In silence ripen fallen seas, give us long rest or death. They just demanded that we just give up upon the struggle. Rather, it's better that we die, right? Give us a long rest or death, dark death or dreamful ease. We want easeful death, right? It is better they prefer death to the struggle of life. And further, how sweet it were hearing the downward stream. Again, they give excuses of not returning home. That further, first initially they tell about the sweet music, and then now they are telling about the beauty of that island. Downward streams with half shut eyes ever seem falling asleep in a half dreamy description, right? Visionary. So to dream and dream like yonder amber light. They want to left totally alone, right? And they consider it is to, I've already told you, better to die rather than live the life of labor. And excuses they have gave, this island is amazing, downward stream, everything we want is here, right? We want rest with these, and to hear each other whisper speech, eating the lotus day by day, right? They were eating the lotus, rest to watch the crisping ripples on the beach, and then to tender curving lines of creamy spread, to lend our heart and spirit wholly, to influence the mild-minded melancholy, to muse and broaden, live again in memory with those old fates of our infancy. Two handful of white dust shut in an urn of brass. Urn of brass refers to death, right? So they want is full death. And in this stanza, so dear is the memory of our wedded lives. Now they were thinking of their home, right? And they give excuses why they do not didn't shouldn't go home back. And they said that dear is the last impress of our wives. Yes, indeed, our family, our children, wife, they are dear, and their warm tears and all had suffered change. So it has been long year, after they left home. So things have been changed there, for surely now our household hearts are cold, means the warmness or the love, it has get cold with passage of time. They just believe they've been gone for a long journey, right? 10 years, So they said that our beloved ones, the love of our beloved one, it maybe fade away with this passage of long passage of time, and our sons inherit us. And now our sons, they just grow up, they just become responsible for their family, and they just inherit us, and our looks and change. So after these long years, our physical look may be changed, right? And they have changed, and we should come like a ghost to trouble joy. And if we move back to home, it seems like we bother our family, they are happy without us, right? If we should go back after these long years, we like a ghost to trouble the joy of our family. Or else the island princes our ball have eat our substance, and the minstrel sings. Minstrel refers to poets, right? And further, before them of the 10 years war in Troy, right? It has been 10 years, I already told you, and our great deeds and half forgotten. Our family, they have forgotten us, and they have forgotten our heroic deeds in the war, because it's too long time after that. And is there confusion in the little Isle Lotus Eaters Island, and the gods, Greek gods, Zeus, Zeus created that tempest for them so that they shouldn't return home. So again, struggle problems, and they were complaining about Greek gods Zeus, that how unmerciful he is. It is hard to settle order once again. There is confusion worse than death, trouble on trouble, pain on pain. A very beautiful lines. There is confusion worse than death, trouble on trouble, pain and pain. Right? So it is such a confusion of asleep or wakefulness. They were in such a confused state that they were unable to differentiate whether they were dead or alive, they were asleep or awake. Such a confusion. And they have troubles and troubles, pain and pain, struggles of life, problems of life. They just want to escape that, and what they want is rest, long labor unto aged breath, sore task too hard, worn out by many wars, and eyes ground dim with gazing on the pilot stars. Stars, in literature or in poems, you may say, they are symbolic because they guide the sailors. And in this stanza, there is a change of mood or tone, right? But after giving those excuses, what they say, but prompt on beds of Amaranth and Molly. So these are the names of flowers, but they said that we are now in a bed of roses, of these flowers, Amaranth, Molly, how sweet it is. And while warm airs lull us, right? The warm air here lull us, and inducing sleep upon us, blowing loudly with half-dropped eyelids still beneath a heaven dark and holy, to watch the long bright river drowning slowly, right? Inclined towards idleness, towards inaction, towards rest, towards no progress, right? Think of trouble if they return home, if they believe that if they return home again, the trouble, the problems of life, the progress or the struggle of life they have to face. That's why they don't want to return. And further they say to watch, they just want to live on this island which is full of restfulness, pleasures and facilities, flowers, beautiful easiness, right? To hear the divine echoes calling, the cave to cave through thick divine wine, to watch the emerald color water falling. Everything is amazing, beautiful there. So that's why they don't want to return. And further they said that through many vowing cantus wrath divine, the only to hear and sleep. We want only to hear, to sleep, to see this show in action. So there is comparison between action and inaction, progress and non-progress. or stillness, right? So these things go side by side, you have to observe them. So this is the last stanza, and it is important as well, right? So the lotus bloom below the barren peak, the lotus blows by every winding creek, all that the wind breathes low with the mellower tone through every hollow cave and alley lawn, right? So the lotus, the effect of that lotus, and the lotus, the flower, it blooms on that island, and all that the wind breathes low and mellower tone, melodious tone, and everything is amazing there. Round and round the spicy, down the yellow lotus dust is blown, and they said that we have had enough of action and motion, right? We have enough struggle in life, now we want is rest. We roll to starbound, roll the larbound, and where the wallowing monster spouted his foam fountains in the sea. And further they said that in the hollow lotus land to live, right? We just only want to live on this island, lie reclined here on the hills like gods. That refers to Mount Olympus. In Greek mythology, Mount Olympus is the mountain where Greek gods reside. They live there, right? So ironical here, Greek gods, they just complaining that their gods, Greek gods, they are indifferent. They are not concerned about humanity. They just enjoy the suffering and pain of their creation, humans, right? Plight of the humans. And they felt happy over the destruction of mankind, and they were complaining of their gods. Round their golden houses girdled with gleaming world where they smile in secret, right? The gods, they smile on the sorrows of human beings. Greek gods, remember in mind, smile in secret, looking on the vasted lands, and further clanging fights and flaming towers and sinking ships and praying hands. Again, the Greek gods, they just felt happy about the destruction, about the pain, suffering of their creation, the humans. And the mariners like to be those guards, like to be those guards who just smile on the destruction of other, who have rest, right? Enjoy their own life, and but they give suffering to others. Other are suffering, and it is none of their concern. What their concern is about themselves, about their own rest, about their own comfort. Again, here they also refers to Greek gods, that they said that, but they smile, right? They smile upon the destruction of men, because they are concerned only about their own, and they find a music centered in the doleful songs, streaming lamentation and ancient tale of wrong. And further leave these lines and come to the ending. Till they, it also refers to human beings. Till human beings perish from this world, and they suffer, some whisper down in hell. So in Greek mythology, you know the abode or the living of blessed after death is Elysium, right? Or in our faith, you can call this Elysium a paradise. So down in hell, some go to hell and some go to Elysium after death, and resting weary limbs at last on beds of us for asphalt. So again refers to a plant, right? It's resting and its weariness. And surely slumber is more sweet than toil. These lines are important. Slumber, the sleeplessness. So this sleep, this restfulness, it is more sweet than toil. Obviously we love sleep, we love to rest, and no one enjoy the struggle, right? The struggle of life. So slumber is more sweet than toil, the shore, than labor in the deep, mid ocean, wind and wave and oar. Or rest ye, brother mariners, we will not wander more. We should not toil or work hard or struggle anymore. Now rest is our ultimate purpose. What we want is rest. So the poem ends here. Hope you understand. Thank you for watching.